Oh, that's good. Hi, I'm James Knuckle, and I don't know if any of you remember that time. It was about 5 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been that long. We're all still alive, but the media started reporting reports that there was a new virus in town. It was the deadliest virus the scientists had ever seen. There was nothing we could do to protect ourselves from it, so we should all prepare to die. At the time, I had a sporadic cough. It was just an itch in my lungs that I couldn't scratch. And the only way to scratch the itch was by coughing. It was a simulated cough right there. I thought people would think that I had the super virus and that I was going to kill them. So I said, I got to do something about this. Fortunately, I'd heard about the Edgar Cayce readings where he would recommend inhaling the fumes of apple brandy from a charred oak keg. The alcohol is an antiseptic, and the apple and the oak flavoring compounds help stimulate the lungs to fix themselves. And so I searched on the internet and I found some barrels. Cayce recommended a 1 gallon barrel, half filled with apple brandy. 1 gallon is 3.73 liters. So I decided to get the 3-liter barrel. It was a little cheaper than the 4-liter barrel. And I decided it would take less alcohol to fill, and it would be a more economical version than the 5-liter barrels. So I ordered 2, one for myself, one for a friend. A friend had had chronic lung conditions her whole life. And I took the barrel over, showed it to her, and she said, "Oh yeah, that's great, I'll try it." So we both started huffing on apple brandy at the same time. And after a few days, I decided my sporadic cough was much better than it used to be. My friend had the same experience. I ordered more barrels, and I started selling them to people at the Prescott Valley Community Market and on my website. And I've had a lot of great reports. But there's a problem with these barrels. The problem is that they are expensive to maintain. See, these things are not plastic, so there's a little bit of leakage of the precious apple brandy, and it just evaporates through the wood very slowly, but I decided that it is an actual problem. The problem also has to do with the nature of cold and flu season. It runs for 3 or 4 months every year, and people might use their barrel extensively from January to March or April, and then they put it on the shelf, and by the time they come back 6 months, 8 months later, all the liquor will be gone, the wood will have shrunken, and this thing won't carry apple brandy. It's not useful anymore. And last summer, this thing was almost out of liquid. I took it to Phoenix, left it in my trunk a couple times, and whatever liquid I had in here rapidly disappeared. And I could tell that the wood was shrinking because the little spigot got to be loose. So I was able to rotate it. And in a way that was fortunate because I didn't put it straight when I first put it in the first time. So I was able to straighten the spigot, and I put fresh water in here, fresh alcohol, and the wood re-swelled, and it's been great ever since. This is a common problem where people put their barrel away and they come back to it 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years later, and they realize that all their liquor is gone and the barrel isn't going to work. Sometimes you can just re-soak it and the wood will re-inflate and it'll start holding liquid again. I had a customer, I re-inflated their barrel once. It was fine. The second time, it just didn't work. And so we had to put that barrel into the compost pile. I had a customer contact me and he told how he's kept his own barrel going for 20 years. He has a very large plastic bag. This is a hefty 2.5 gallon storage bag with a slider. You can get them at Walmart or on Amazon. And it does fit the barrel. This is the spigot barrel. It does fit all the way down. Just zip it closed, put the straw in here. So this bag does help keep the wood, keep all the alcohol from evaporating away. My mom gave me her barrel for various reasons, maybe a year ago, and I put her barrel in one of these plastic bags for 6 months, and it kept its liquid. It didn't lose its sealing capacity for 6 months, but there was a problem. The problem is these barrels that I got use plain steel hoops. They are not corrosion resistant. So after a while in these bags, the bands on my barrel started to get really very, very rusty. So that's not good. Mom's barrel, which I left in there for 6-8 months straight, all the bands were completely covered with rust. A barrel company has another option. They have a galvanized steel barrel. So I ordered my latest batch of barrels have these galvanized steel bands. You can tell them they're a little bit different color. This is black hoops, galvanized hoops. I think the black hoops do have a little bit more character than the galvanized hoops, but these are going to last for much longer, and they won't rust in the bag, in theory. I haven't put one of these in a bag yet. That's next on my thing to do. So all my barrels from here on out are going to have these galvanized hoops. It's still the same price. I'm still going to charge $70. I don't barely make any money on these, but I think the important thing is to get these out in the community, because the Edgar Cayce Association has an official supplier, and they also have barrels. They sell 5-liter barrels, which are too big for these 2.5-gallon bags. You can find bigger bags on Amazon. This is a 3-gallon bag. These things are pretty giant. If you have one of the 5-liter barrels, it's probably galvanized. I don't know for sure, but if you want to store your barrel in a plastic bag to keep all your precious liquor from evaporating, I'd suggest going to Amazon and getting one of these giant plastic bags. This is the 3 gallons. They have some other bags that are also available. Oh, so I want another last anecdote about this problem with barrels. So this lady, she got the first barrel. This is my first barrel from almost 5 years ago, and it's still holding liquid. It's served me great for these last 5 years. I have spent a lot of money on alcohol to keep it saturated. I have another video about storing the barrel with cheap liquor, cheap wine, things like that. But the lady who got the other barrel, I went to visit her a year after she'd gotten it, and her lungs were doing so well. She's so pleased. She could go out and take care of her horses. You know, before the barrel, she just couldn't handle all the dust that was associated with taking care of the horses. Her husband had to do all the horse chores. But after a year of huffing apple brandy, she's able to go out, take care of her horses. She came in, went straight to the barrel, and started huffing away. I went to visit her 2 years later, and she said, truthfully, she had let her barrel completely dehydrate, because her lungs were healed. She didn't need it anymore. So I told her that she could actually rehydrate her barrel, and told her about the cheap liquor thing to store her barrel. And I said there's maybe some other options where you can just inhale straight off a big bottle with some of these charred oak spirals. Anyways, but the point was, though, she'd had this chronic lung condition for 50, 60 years, and with just 2 years of huffing on apple brandy, her lungs were completely healed. So that's the latest. This video is January 25th, 2025. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Thanks.